Can I get a story or do you have to focus on the run? No pressing either way.
No, I'm not even running. I'm not even running right now. I'm fixing my path. There's a fight. There's a fight in between here and the end game that doesn't line up properly, and I want to figure out why. Afterwards, it says Ramza gets a thief hat and a sprint shoe.
Tell me about Tactic's story, please.
Sure. Give me a sec to balance these things because I don't know. I don't know if I really want the sprint shoe. Yeah, sprint shoe would put me up to 10. Oh, thief hat and sprint shoe because it would put me up to 11. That's better. Being 11 is preferable. So the story of Final Fantasy Tactics revolves around a young man named Ramza Beelv.
How's the meeting? Any drama?
Also that. Snow has been getting morning meetings since they moved to the new place. But Ramza Beelv is the progeny of the late. You know what? I don't. Since I'm not in a run or anything, we could just cheat. Let's look it all up. Right now he's 19. He starts the game at 18, and we passed his birthday already, so he's 19 now. Youngest of the respected Beelv family, he fights his brothers, finding out that they are engaging a war for their own well-being. Finds out about the greed by the Church of Glebados and about Lucavi, which are demons using the church. He fights for justice of others, and he is the son of... Where is he? Balbinez. Balbinez being the former leader of the Hokuten Knights, which are the knights that Ramza was going to be part of, and was part of for a while. He quit that for reasons we'll get into, but we're just introducing characters. What is up?
Coffee for me?
Yes, for you.
Oh, okay.
Coffee for you. Achieved the rank of Heavenly Knight while other knights were being defeated. He produced many victories, even when he was outnumbered. A treaty was reached because of the fear he struck into the hearts of the enemies, poisoned and killed in later parts of the war. Son of Babadook, Balbanez? Balbanez is how I pronounce that. It's important to note that because Balbanez was a really a grand historical figure even while he was alive, and Ramza lives up to that throughout the story. We also need to check on Delita, who will turn 19 later in the year. Friend of you, given the status of a holy knight as he became the leader of the Nanten Knights after the assassination of Prince Goltana. But this is not the truth. During the commotion of defending Bethla garrison, he released the captured Count Orlandu and murdered Prince Goltana. He continues to use people for his own ambitions and well-being. Very selfish person. Delita and Ramza are friends early on, and they basically get conscripted into the Hokuten as they start as squires in the Hokuten army. And throughout the events of their education, they happen to free the Marquis Elmdor, who was a diplomat from another country. And Elmdor was entering the country to start some peace talks about ending the war and things like that. And is an ally of the Beowulfs in the first place. So he was like, I think he was coming in to talk about like how to settle the war in a responsible manner. Either way, it was a plot by the Death Corps to kill Elmdor, and Ramza stops that and ends up starting a confrontation with the Death Knights, who were led by Wiegrif. And Wiegrif becomes a very prominent figure throughout as he opposes Ramza at every step, and Ramza ends up killing his sister. So, Ramza and Delita meet Algus, who is a page of Elmdor, and together the three of them go for the rescue. Eventually, Delita's sister Tata gets captured, and there's a falling out between Algus and Delita, as Algus is kind of flippant about the whole thing, treating her
Led
like...
by Weegers.
Led by Weegers. Wiegrif, not Weegers. Weegers sits under the desk. When Delita and Ramza show up to rescue Tata, Algus and Ramza's brother Zalbag, leader of the Hokuten Knights, he is considered a holy knight. Your older brother, with many victories in the 50-year war, which is the war we were talking about earlier. He has been praised by King Denamunda. We never see that name anywhere except in the backstory. Nobody talks about the king for some reason. As a savior of Ivalice and Galleon, Galleon being the country that Ramza is from. Under the name of Beowulf, there is victory. Fights you as a servant of the Lucavians and is defeated later. Yeah, it gets crazy. So he shows up with Algus. Yikes, because time for another meeting. Wow, good luck. Zalbag gives the order for Algus to shoot down the Death Corps, one of the Death Corps leaders. There's two of them. Both. And Algus, in attacking the Death Corps leader, shoots Tata and kills her. Delta, of course, is extremely upset about this. Zalbag leaves the field, and Delita, Ramza, and Algus have an extended conversation about their position in society. Eventually, Algus is killed. Ramza leaves Hokuten Knights. Delita tries to revive his sister and is distraught, and there's an explosion that consumes Delita and Tata while Ramza looks on. That is in the past of the story. We flash forward to the present, where Ramza is part of a band of mercenaries led by the powerful knight Gafgarion. Mercenary hired by the Hokuten Knights to escort Princess Ovalia to Igros. He was a leader of the Toten Knights during the 50-year war, but his brutal fighting style forced him out of the Knights after the war. Died at the Battle of Leonel Castle. So, Gafgarion, while being part of the Hokuten Knights, is escorting Princess Ovalia to Igros. But she gets captured instead. And Ramza leaves the Knights at the time, so he's just a mercenary. And as such, he's a mercenary hired by the Hokuten. So he uses his previous privilege to stay in the Hokuten Knights, but he abandons his title in that moment. After the princess is captured, Gafgarion, Agrias, and Ramza go to rescue her. Wow. Agrias being a knight of the local knights of the Atkashka royal family, which is Ovalia. Basically, she's Ovalia's personal knight. After the death of Omdolia, tension between Prince Larg and Prince Goltana grew, as Zagreus was assigned to the monastery by the elders for the safety of the queen. She has a strong sense of loyalty toward the royal family and a strong sense of justice. She feels sympathy for Ovalia, who has to live in a remote region. And that being said, what do they call that? There's a word for that action, but it's basically the church sent Ovalia to live in the country, and after that, Ovalia again had to go live in a remote location after she was kidnapped. She kind of got censured by that and had to live where nobody would know who she is and all that. So Gafgarian, Agrias, and Ramza go to rescue the princess and end up running into her at Zirikyle Falls, which is a waterfall that feeds into the river. A river heading south from there. I forget what river that is. I feel like I should know. Like,
the word is misogyny.
The word is misogyny. No, well, yeah, but it's not because she was a woman. She was put there because she was a princess, and they wanted to stop her from having political reach. And they're holding her to the side so she could become the queen at some point, and hoping that she would do whatever they said. They being introduced later. After the battle at Zirikyle Falls, where Delita shows up, because Delita appears to be the one that kidnapped Ovalia. But at Zirikyle Falls, he relinquishes Ovalia to the group that was trying to rescue her, namely Ramza and them. And he explains that there's a secret war.
I thought they were punishing her for being kidnapped. Misunderstood.
No, they were punishing her as kidnapping. It wasn't really a punishment more than it was literally just a kidnapping. And she was kidnapped by Delita, relinquished to Ramza, taken to people who they thought would stop the war, which we'll talk about soon. And then she was kidnapped again. So she got double kidnapped. Delita explains that there's a war going on, a secret war, like that has been going on since the 50-year war ended, and the reason that he kidnapped the princess was to stop Ovalia from heading to Igros, because there was corruption in Igros. Delita would not explain that in that moment, though, instead leaving Ramza in the dark and saying that he was going to head in his own direction. Agrias, after the rescue of Ovalia, decides they should head to Leonel to talk to the Count. Count Draclau is there. I bet he's in here. Yeah. Draclau is the head of Lionel, also a cardinal, second only to the head of the Glabados Church, a famous knight of the 50-Year War, as well as being a theologist. He is revered by his people. He actually knows secret knowledge about the church. The cardinal associated with Cuchulainn of the legendary devil group, Lucavi, seeking the Holy Stone for some unknown reason. And we slay Cuchulainn in that moment, but we escort Ovalia to Lionel, where she acts as a diplomat to talk to Draclau to find out about the secrets that are happening in the background and why she should be captured, instead of approaching instead of approaching what she was trying to do as being a diplomat into Galleon. She decides to go and ask about the secrets that Delita was talking about. Along the way, Ramza meets up with Mustadio, who's an engineer. Young man working at the mines of Gog Machine City, son of Besrodio, a respected mechanist who produces advanced weapons. He has mastered the use of a gun, which is an advanced weapon where gunpowder is packed into a steel barrel. And Mustadio needs help because Mustadio is being chased down for holding a holy stone, as the engineers of Gog will salvage an ancient city full of machines. They find holy stones, and that's what starts tension in Gog with Mustadio. Ramza agrees to escort Mustadio back to Gog while Ovelia sits in Lionel to be a diplomat, like I said. In Gog, the group is cornered by the Bart Company, and Bart Company are basically, imagine the East India Trading Company, and with just as much racism and genocide as that from the fucking explorers era of human history. Bart Company moves into locations, seizes items,
Scary for sure.
and opens up trade routes, but all of those routes have to set up with Bart Company. In fact, one of these folks is their leader, right? If I could pick out the name, we'll read
You
it.
can seize my items.
Hi, I will seize every item you have. I will seize your every being. How do you do this morning? Rudovic. Accidentally hit Celia. Is it Rudovic? Yeah. Bart Rudovic.
Lovely.
Lovely. That's you. And I'm glad. Hope your morning is well. Representative of the Bart Trading Company, involved in a variety of businesses based in Wargelis Trade City. He is respected and praised as a man of influence by the people, but in the shadows, he is said to be a boss of a criminal organization who is involved in acts such as the slave trade and opium smuggling. Failing to obtain the Holy Stone of Taurus, he was executed by the Cardinal. Cardinal Draclaw executes him in a cutscene after seizing control of Ovelia and keeping her imprisoned. And that's what happens in that moment.
I am Ahmad.
Yes, you're Ahmad. I wanted to recover some of the diamonds, and you are precious to me. And I think that you could be responsible. But also, you're not required to do anything mod-wise. I don't ask anything
This
of
cute
you.
little game is brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal, and in fact, they toned it down a lot in Tactics Advanced, where it's like more whimsical, and this Tactics 1997 is like the fucking reckoning of biblical proportions, and that's the kind of atmosphere they wanted. So after rescuing Mustadio, we find out, because of things, that there's trouble.
This is censored? Damn.
It's not censored. No, 1997 is not censored. Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced is a different game. It has just a more positive atmosphere than this game. It's the same series, but a different timeline, and is generally, as a story, more positive. So after rescuing Mustadio again, they rescue Mustadio's father, and then they take a ship to Wargelis. And in Wargelis, Ramza meets up with Delita on the docks. Delita explains that things have gotten worse, and that they have to go to Lionel to talk to the Duke again, because something is not quite right. Leaving Wargelis, they find Agrias on the run from the Knights of Lionel, and she explains that the Count is corrupted, has imprisoned Ovelia, and is doing some kind of scheming that she doesn't recognize. After rescuing Agrias, instead of going directly to Lionel, we have to go to Gulgarind execution site, because Agrias explains Ovelia will be executed next. Like, as soon as execution is possible is the idea. So they had to go. They head to Gulgarind execution site, where they run into a trap, where Gafgarian is posing as an executioner and somebody is dressed as Ovelia. And when everybody enters the scene, they turn on Ramza and company, and a battle ensues. Golgarind is liberated, Gafgarian runs away, and then we track him down to Lionel Castle, where we kill him at the gate, where he tries to corner Ramza and defeat Ramza alone. We enter Lionel Castle and corner Draklau. And Draklau reveals himself to be in control of a holy stone. Like, we knew he had the stone. He actually has the stone of cancer. Now here is the second time. The first stone we see is Taurus. By the way, this menu, I want people to pay attention. Brave Story, this explains everything about the game as you unlock it, and it updates entries as you find out about stuff. So if you ever want to find out anything, go into this list. It also lists jobs that you uncover. I didn't take any jobs because the speedrun strats, but you understand. And it also tells you like all sorts of things about the game. Record is cutscenes that you could rewatch.
Meow.
You could rewatch every cutscene in the
Lilbin
game.
11 snore hell Lilbin 11 snore low.
I love those emotes. Every person in the game that you meet, including Al-Islam, who is telling you all of this. Al-Islam is the historian. Whoops.
Of course you do. They're yours.
Yeah, but also, like, it's Snorlax.
It's a snow kitty.
Snow Kitty. But Al-Islam is a historian that doesn't even exist. He never meets any of the characters. He's only the narrator. But he's even the narrator is on the list. Like, that's how in depth it goes. Anyway, back to the story. The Stone of Taurus is the one that Mustadio holds. It was found in Go Machine City, and
Wait, who's he telling this to?
he's telling this to us. Al-Islam is speaking to the audience. He breaks the fourth wall. He's talking to us. He's telling us the truth.
Who are we?
We are the audience. We also are represented by Ramza. And so, in a twist of fate, we are simultaneously experiencing the story through Ramza, and we are experiencing the story as a removed audience that Al-Islam is telling. We could be students. We might be historians that are in training.
Human, or are we dancer?
We assume
Gay. We are also very gay.
that we are gay humans in this, but also you could be whatever you want. I don't have the Stone of Cancer right now. I think Cancer gets captured because one of the red stones is the one Scorpio acquired after vanquishing Draklau. Okay, so it's Scorpio that we take from Draklau. I thought it was Cancer for some reason.
Hey Roo, I'm off the clock finally.
Welcome
Nod,
welcome
nod.
off the clock. Congratulations, Trey Troy. So Draklau is in control of the Holy Stone Scorpio and uses it to transform into Cuculin. Is Cuculin on the list?
Congrats, Trey.
No, it only mentions Cuculin in
Hey,
his
Trey.
thing. After defeating Cuculin, Ramza decides to go tell his brother Zalbag about the war, because Zalbag is a chief officer in the war, and he could try to convince Zalbag to stop the war. He moves to Lazalia. He goes to Lazalia to talk to Zalbag and ask him to stop the war, and Zalbag says he's being foolish because they come from a military family. Like, literally, you're asking me not to get paid, and also you're asking me to go against the wishes of Prince Larg, which is like treason if you really think about it. So you're asking your brother to commit treason. And Zalbag tells Ramza to go back to Igros and just forget about it. Ramza then leaves the scene and runs into Alma and says
Prince
that
Dickbutt.
Prince Dickbutt, yeah, basically. And honestly, Prince Larg isn't even like. Prince
And all
Larg
this
is.
BQs you did bad in a snowball fight.
That's a different game, but basically, yeah. That's Tactics Advanced, which I think is like.
TNTs cannot commit treason.
Yeah. Gung it up. He's being weird. So instead of going back to Igros, Ramza decides that he wants to stop the plot of the church. However, on going outside and in talking to his sister Alma, which
So I've thought this was Tactics Advanced for the last. How long have you been streaming this?
we've been doing speedruns of this for a year and like 2 or 3 months. That's so funny. We'll pop down so that we can introduce characters we've talked about. A lot of this is gonna sound redundant. Zalbag, leader of the Hokoten Knights, he is considered a holy knight, your older brother. With many victories in the 50-year war, he has been praised by King Denamunda as a savior of Ivalice and Galleon under the name of Beowulf. I think I already read this. Fights you as a servant of the Lucavi, but is defeated, which like recently happened. And then Alma is our sister, and actually I took one of my names from this character because I love her. My pen name is Alma, and one of my headmates is called Alma because of this. Like, she's 1 year younger than Ramza. Youngest of the four Beowulf. What?
F anal fan titty tit tax.
Yeah. Youngest of 4 of the Beowulf family.
Lilbin 11 coffee. I am a smarty hardy.
You are a smarty hardy. That's why you deserve kisses. Your younger sister came from a different mother than the second brother. With her cheerful personality, she is well liked by everyone, spending most of her life in a convent. She has recently returned to the Beowulf family. Alma is closer to you, as you are closer in age than her brothers. I believe they also have the same mother. I think that Ramza and Alma have the same mother. Unsure. But it's a point that Alma later on is revealed to be important.
When she has a problem, you ask her what's alma mater.
What does Alma matter? And she says, please stop saying that.
Do I deserve kisses?
You also
Like
deserve
left
kisses.
finger?
Yeah. Oh, do I deserve kisses? So, after talking to Alma, Alma is convinced. Alma
Kisses.
convinces, and actually, Alma basically strong arms.
Coffee on Ruru?
Wow. Yes. Alma basically convinces Ramza to let her go with him to the next place. And that's when the Inquisitor, Zalmo, enters the scene. Zalmo is the pagan examiner of the Glabados Church. The pagan examiner is in charge of the heretic hunt and is considered the elite of the elites in the church. He holds enormous power outside of the church as well, as even the knights are unable to stand against him. He is defeated in the battle against you at Zeltenia. Zalma shows up to persecute Ramza for
Oh,
being a heretic.
pagan.
What's the Bakaki in this scenario? NGL, I thought you said the pegging examiner.
Pagan. He's the heretic examiner. He examines heretics. And Ramza becomes a heretic because he starts talking about the Lucavi, which is basically church rules. Don't say anything
Pegging
that
rank
discredits
B+.
the church kind of thing. Pegging rank B+. You don't know yet.
The fact the Ruru is the center and we take turns kissing it.
That is true.
Why take turns? We can all kiss at once.
Well, some people are faster kissers than others.
That's a
That's just how
Genghis, not
Bukake
a.
goes.
Bukao is sort of fluid-centric.
Oh, you know, that's true, because, like, I feel like Bukake is specifically the dowsing of...
I see we're having horny chat this
It's
morning.
not horny chat.
It's definitely horny
This
chat.
is... Okay, maybe it is horny
It's
chat.
definitely horny
I
chat.
mean,
Fine.
saliva.
Saliva.
Yeah, see? The words bukkake and saliva.
I'm trying to
and-
talk about... I'm actually...
Stop playing with your thing!
I'm not. I
Horny
keep
chat
biting it,
time.
trying to tell you stuff. I'm trying to talk about the backstory of Final Fantasy Tactics so Monty knows what's going on.
I am just correcting them.
And everyone else is talking about slapping you in the face with dicks.
No, this is about kisses.
Oh, kisses.
Yeah, no,
Aw.
really.
Kisses.
She's fucking, I can't stand that look sometimes.
What?
Kiss
She's
Bukaki.
fucking teasing me.
I'm not teasing
Yes,
you.
you are. Shut up.
No, I'm not.
Tease. Anyway. After staving off Zalmo, Ramza goes to
Hi, Chris.
Orbon Monastery,
It actually is kisses.
which is
This
where the game
time.
starts. It actually is kisses this time. She doesn't believe me.
No, I don't. Nah.
At Orbon Monastery, they find out that Wigriff, who no longer leader of the
Promise
Death
it is.
Corps, Wigriff is now conscripted by the Holy Knights to find the Holy Stones, and they have infiltrated Orbon Monastery and are causing a ruckus. Alma stays with Simon, who is probably on this list. Simon is the head of Orbon Monastery and professor of a devout believer in the teachings of the Glabados of Glabados. Once a high-level pagan examiner, he resigned due to one incident. He escaped the secular world and currently lives as a hermit in a distant land, killed by the Temple Knights
I'll
who
find your holy
came for the
stones.
Holy Stone Virgo at the monastery. So he got slain at that point. And although Alma stays behind to help him, he does eventually die. But before dying, he gives Ramza a book, Germanic Scriptures. If we look at this, it's going to tell us a big story about the backstory. I'm not going to get into it because it's a really long cutscene. But the Germanic Scriptures basically tell about the truth of the church, and that's why it's a big problem. Ramza takes the book and reads it. Peter the Plant. What ability does Peter get
Where's
today?
my boy?
Where's the boy? Here he is. Here's Peter, the 1/3 plant creature. What is Peter's ability, dear Hartman? I don't know what sound it makes. I love
His
Peter.
ability is being the best boy.
Being the best boy. So that I'll give him lifelink.
Here comes the buoy Tilda. Hello, boy.
Here comes the boy. We can't see part of him because of the green screen. But Peter, the 1/3 plant with lifelink, is
That
now
boy.
under control of Hartman. Thank you very much. Until end of stream, enjoy the company of Peter. Ramza leaves Alma behind. Alma goes back to see. Alma goes back to her brother Zalbag, as Ramza tells her to go back. I'm pretty sure. He goes through and defeats Islud and defeats Wigriff again. Wigriff gains control of a holy stone and transforms into a devil and runs away. From there, Ramza heads north. Because he has to stop the plot. He knows that I forget where he goes from there exactly, but he knows that he has to go to,
Damn, I wish that were me.
or he was going to go to talk to his other brother, and then when he leaves Orban and reaches Dorder, and in Dorder he meets Malik, member of an elite assassination group, Kamuja, assembled by Barrington, became orphaned by the 50-Year War, saved and brought up as a magician by Barrington. He covered for his sister Rafa on the roof of the Riovanes castle and died from being shot. But
Did
using
that just say Dracula?
Draclau? Draclau, yeah, at the bottom, Draclau is the Duke, not Dracula. But there is a Dracula character in this. Using the holy powers from
okay.
the stone, it came back to life. Your circumstances makes him defect from the front line. So he stops being a soldier after that, after the encounter. But he shows up in Dorder and confronts Ramza about what he knows about the truth of the church. And then tells Ramza that he has to go north to Rialvain. And Ramza decides to chase him down because that's really, like, he has no other answers otherwise, so he goes north.
Obviously not Dracula. He's a count, not a duke.
That's fair. Also, different job. Along the way, he runs into Olan, magician of the Nanten Knights, adopted son of T.G. Sid. Olan's real father was a comrade of Sid and died in the 50-Year War. Worked as the right-hand man under Sid, but after the assassination of Duke Goltana, he was placed in the dungeon of the Zeltenia Castle by Delita as a man knowing the truth. And also, he's a Cancerian, so he's automatically one of the best. Olan gets in trouble because he finds out about the truth, and Ramza happens to be along in that moment and saves Olan. Olan confides in Ramza some things and says that they will talk later, and Ramza heads further north after that, not realizing who Olan is. If they had realized, they would know that Olan has reason to capture Ramza and hold him down, but he doesn't do it because Olan knows the truth. In Yardro, on the way, Ramza encounters Rafa, and Rafa is trying to escape her brother Malik because she finds out about the truth. Member of an elite assassination group, Kamuja, assembled by Barrington.
Damn, Sulene is in this? Kappa.
Became orphaned by the 50-Year War, saved and brought up as a magician by Barrington, but finds out that the prince was behind the burning of a village. Rafa escapes from the Rialvanes castle and becomes the enemy to the prince. Your circumstance makes her defect from the front lines. She also stops being a soldier. You can have both of these players join your team, and in fact, in the future speedrun, I'm going to take Rafa because she has really low brave. We could use her to find items in the deep dungeon. So we rescue her from being persecuted, and then we go to Rialvanes, and she and Malik get into their own thing, and we go in, storming the castle and meeting up with Wigriff. Ramza fights Wigriff one-on-one. A very tough fight. It's been and is a choke point for the game. After defeating Wigriff, Ramza is joined by the rest of his team to fight Velius. Velius's title is the Devil. I forgot to say Cuculin's title is the Impure. Or the Unclean. I've seen both. It doesn't really matter. It's just fun to think about. So Ramza and company then defeat Velius and rescue the Holy Stone. They go further in to find Elmdor. And we find out that Elmdor is actually a vampire and has been pulling strings with the church to unknown means. We don't know why, but he is involved with the evils, the truth of the evil, and he's responsible for many deaths and many secrets being held by the church. We rout the fight as we're also introduced to Celia and Lead, and now that we've gone through how Elmdor is the one that we rescue in the first chapter. Leader of Limberry, a soldier who fought bravely against the invading forces in a foreign land during the latter half of the 50-Year War. With his silver armor and his long and beautiful blonde hair, his allies call him the Silver Noble. Yet, he is feared by the enemies, calling him the Silver Ogre. Dying in the battle at the Fusa Plains, came back to life as a Lucavi, but is defeated and killed by you. So he actually dies. The Lucavi revive him as a vampire, but we don't know that in the current set of the story as I'm explaining it. I just realized I've been talking about this story for quite some time. This is a ticket from Montague, who wanted to know the backstory, and we're at a good place that we could just pick through all this information and fully explain as much as possible, even if I forget some details. So thank you very much to Monty for this. We're going to keep going. I'm going to get to tell the whole story.
Cheer 100.
Thank you for 100 cheers! Hardy, I love you so much. Dearest Erica. I hope that you enjoy hanging out. After routing Elmdor, it was Burinten. Timote. Ah. We didn't touch on Burinten, but Burinten Cat is the one that he has a lot of, not him. Burinten has a lot. He takes people with strange abilities and he brings out those abilities, but makes them slaves. Basically, he's a terrible person. He gets killed by Celia and Lead before Elmdor corners the party at the roof. But he's the leader of Favaham. Since the Grand Duke was not a warrior, he did not fight on the front lines during the 50-Year War, but under the Grand Duke, a group of mercenaries were assembled from many countries.
He steals men's souls and makes them his slaves.
No, he steals people. He literally traffics people. He traffics people to make them into soldiers. Under the Grand Duke, a group of mercenaries were assembled from many countries and fought in his name. Realizing the powers of the Holy Stone and its significance in warfare, he steals the Holy Stone. This action infuriates Vormav, and he is killed, basically being insolent, as he tried to fuck everybody over. He gets killed by Celia and Lead, and Celia and Lead are introduced in this moment in the fight with Elmdor. Celia is an ultimate demon summoned by Marquis Elmdor. She's not even human. And Lead, similarly, an ultimate demon summoned by Marquis Elmdor. These two are just incredibly strong characters, and they fight for the Lucavi to bring you to an end. Burinten shoots Malik during the scuffle on the roof, and after the battle, Rafa is distraught over the death of her brother. And in seeing the Holy Stone Scorpio, in seeing Malik give his life for Rafa, is moved to the degree that it decides to revive Malik with his whole soul. So instead of giving him undeath or making him a Lucavi, he's given his body back and can return to life. And that's what causes him and his sister to leave the war. Not just the liberation from Burinten. And technically they can join your party. So technically they can stay in the war if they want, but they leave. They leave if you don't accept them. After reviving Malik, Rafa and Malik and Ramza discuss what goes on next. And Ramza decides that he has to Where does he go from there? He has to go and talk to... We have to go directly to Goltana. Goltana is one of the major characters in the game, Lord of Zeltenia. As with the Larg family, the Goltana family is part of the Denimunda Kingdom since the 50-Year War, also known as the Prince of the Black Lions, from his family crest, taken from the double-headed crest of the kingdom. Assassinated by the scheme of the Knight Delita and the Church during an attack on Bethla Garrison. He is the brother of Larg, Lord of Galeon, brother of Princess Ruvelia and the Omdolia Kingdom. Of the Omdolia Kingdom, the Larg family is a part of the Akachka Kingdom, who gained power from the 50-Year War, assassinated by Dice Dark's scheme during an attack on Bethla Garrison. So, during the fight at Bethla Garrison, which happens later, Larg and Goltana are both routed by the people working behind the scenes, and this is where we will find out about the connections. But before that, Ramza heads to Zeltenia to confront Goltana himself, or Delita, whoever is there, basically, about what is going on. And they have to stop the plot of Goltana, who Ramza believes is the key behind all this, and is the one being influenced by the Lucavi. When they reach Zeltenia, they meet up with Cid, and no, they don't meet up with Cid. When they reach Zeltenia, Ramza goes to pray at the Church of Glabados there, and there's a big temple in Glabados. There's a big temple to Glabados in Zeltenia. And while he's there, Delita shows up and tells him a little bit more about what's going on. And in that moment, they seem like they really are friends again, except that they have to be involved in a war. And Delita basically lies to Ramza over and over again, but tells him just what he needs to know to pursue Goltana down to Bethla. And since Ramza is routed in this way, he goes down to Bethla.
What's a small war between friends?
What's a small war between
Yes,
friends? Exactly.
Lying repeatedly.
Lying repeatedly. Delita lies to everybody in the story. He gets what he wants, and he takes what he wants, and people do what he wants because he doesn't care, or he cares a whole lot. Whatever you decide is the answer. Ramza goes to Bethla Garrison, hoping to confront Goltana. But before he can leave, Zalmo shows up again and tries to persecute Ramza again for being a heretic. Zalmo is then slain in the battle and is no more. Does not even run away. After the fact, Delita, along with a young witch named Balmafula, she has a different name. I don't remember what her name is retranslated to in the other one, but Balmafula is basically the same age as Ramza. Young magician sent by the church to assist Delita, who has lurked...
Now that's name.
Now that's a name, yeah. She is so cool, too. I wish she had a bigger story, because she's just a cool character. Great design, great attitude, and they hint at her power. She goes toe-to-toe with Delita, and is just unfazed by it. She's fearless, and she's fierce, and she's just great. Very gender goals. Young magician who is sent by the church to assist Delita, who has lurked into the Goltana army. So she's a spy as well. But she was to be the executioner of Delita if Delita was to double-cross the church. She realized that she was falling for Delita, who states that he is going to double-cross the church. Watching his movements and listening to his thoughts, she is unable to draw her sword. and we don't find out about her until the end. It's hinted that she could be killed. But I will just tell you right now that she does survive in the end. And she does not get with Delita, but she admires his power and is comforted by his presence. So instead of executing him for treason, she realizes that, in her opinion, the best way is to support him. However, when it comes down to doing her job, we'll see. Belmaphila, in that moment, also comments that she hates people like Delita who manipulate and deceive others. So there's a lot of tension. But I think that Delita manipulates her as well. It makes her fall in love. Ramza heads down south to go to Bethla Garrison, and along the way is stopped by Balk.
Big yike.
Balk is a very important figure and one of the leaders of the people that we're talking about. Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church. Before joining the Temple Knights, he lived as a machinist in Gog Machine City. Therefore, his skill with a gun is superior to his swordsmanship. As a commoner in his machinist days, he was involved in the anti-aristocratic movement and was on the blacklist of the Knights. Died at the battle in Bed Desert. Gun. Yeah, he uses a gun. He uses a magic gun. And in fact, this says he died at Bed Desert, but later he shows up alive and well, and much to our frustration, still an enemy.
Why quotation marks?
Because it's new technology. The word gun is a euphemism. They made it up. In this timeline, they made up the word gun to describe this
Balk
thing.
fucks.
Balk does fuck. So they call it gun in quotes because generally people don't even know what a gun is. Most people are using swords and bows, daggers, and magic. A gun is a new concept to the world in this story. Balk explains that Ramza is digging a little too deep and is just a problem and has to be stopped. And Ramza, confused by this, just says no, and then they fight. And Balk is dropped in the desert. Ramza continues on to Bethla, a garrison city where many strong soldiers are trained and housed, literally walking into the most dangerous place to be for himself. They storm the garrison, and when they come up to the sluice, a large structure holding back water, we can actually go out to the map and see this structure. We can imagine that it's there. Bethla Garrison is right here. The darker points on the map are waterways, noting that
There's a sluice in Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah. Oh, Darkest Dungeon, the game. Yeah. I didn't know about the sluice in Darkest Dungeon. That sounds cool. A sluice is, on the one hand, is a dam that has little things that you can open to release water. And in front of the sluice is a long structure that is made of pipes.
Did you just meow in confusion?
Yeah.
Not Darkest Dungeon, Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah.
It did. It's very cute.
Listen, Hartman, I don't know if I told you, I'm autistic.
'Twas cute.
Thank you. And also I dropped my mask. I don't mask anymore. I'm just openly autistic, openly trans person now. So you might hear more noises from me in the future. So I don't know if I ever told you, but I think you should know.
I just wasn't sure if that's what I heard.
Yeah, no, you heard a meow. There's a lot of sounds I end up making. Nice.
A trans stick.
Oh, trans stick. Or Trantistic, but that makes less sense. I know there's a way to zoom in. Oh no, there's a way to zoom out. I don't know if those are waterways now. They might be hills. We can actually look if there's one here. Germinus Peak? Could be. That could be a hill. But Bethla Garrison is actually very close to the ocean, and there's a little thing right here that is where the sluice exists. There's like no waterway here, but I think this is a river, honestly, because this is around where Finath is, right? There's the desert, which is in between all of these rivers. Dogwola Pass. Oh, that might be a mountain then. If there's a spot at every one, like Brevenia Volcano is also on top of one of the dark spots. So these are mountains. I always thought these were rivers. They're mountains. Anyway, the sluice is a big structure that has like half pipes or whole pipes that direct the water flow from the dam down into a broader structure so that there will be a flood, but anything in the valley below the sluice is a little bit safer as long as they're not in the sluice way. Either way.
I'll give you a whole pipe.
Ramza and company storm the sluice and open it, flooding the battlefield and stopping a huge battle that's happening below the garrison. And this is a battle between the two countries, this country and this country. And I guess these guys are involved too because they're in the middle, but neither here nor there. After opening the sluice, Ramza routs some folks and they're given a hint. They basically stop a battle. It's a major turning point in the battle is when they open the sluice and stop that fight. Then Ramza heads back to Zeltenia because Goltana wasn't there, basically, but also like he has to figure it out. Unfortunately, during the battle at Bethla Garrison, Delita corners Goltana and slays him. And at the same time, Ramza's other brother, Dicedarg, confronts Larg and kills him. One of the troop leaders under Prince Larg, your oldest brother, following his late father, Balbanez's wishes, gave up his position as the leader of the Hokuten Knights to his younger brother. He became the troop leader for Prince Larg, assassinated Duke Larg during the attack on Bethla Garrison, retains power, but is killed in an ambush by Zalbag. And we'll find out about that. That happens while Ramza is going back up to Zeltenia for the second time. Ramza heads up to Zeltenia, is stopped by a flower girl. Just as a point of reference, the flower girl tells us where we are in the story. So anybody who's aware of the flower girl knows where we're at in the story now. At Zeltenia, Ramza meets Cid, also called Orlandu. Orlandu is an incredibly strong holy knight, also known as TG Cid, undefeated leader of the Non-Ten Knights during the 50-year war, only equaled by Balbanez and Zalbag. Wow! I didn't know Zalbag was that strong. Yo, Zalbag is the shit, and like, he's a fucker, but he redeems himself in the end, I think. But that says a lot about his strength, as Balbanez was the strongest knight known to Galleon, which means that actually his first name is Sidolphus. I never realized that. Sidolphus is such a name. I like that. I'm going to borrow that. I'm stealing that. I'm going to steal 2 names from this game. Sidolphus is going to be a D&D character or something.
What does TG stand for?
Thunder God. In all of Final Fantasy.
I love you, but make sure to shut up if you need to and take care of your lip.
Thank you. I will. In all of Final Fantasy, there is a character in every story called Cid, and they are known as the Thunder God. And in the world of Final Fantasy, that denotes that they are the strongest presence of physical might on the battlefield. In any fight that includes Thunder God Cid, you know that the turning of history is occurring. He was held at the Bethel garrison for planning a rebellion against Prince Goltana, but escaped with the help of his son, Olan, and you. He is currently with you. So I was mistaken. He's not in Zeltenia. We rescue him at Bethel garrison, and he tells us that Goltana's not there. So then we go to Zeltenia to try and help out, and we have to go down south from there, where we head for Limbury. But basically, we would be up here at Zeltenia, and then we head down south in this manner to Limbury after that. So we have to go in from Bethel garrison, and we end up going up in this path actually, because that's the closest to get to Zeltenia. And then we find out that we have to go further on. And there's a reason we come around as well. We can't go straight on, because if you go straight on, you're basically going directly toward the enemy. The reason they wanted to go around was to also avoid being confronted by the people who are still fighting a battle. Because as you can see from this map, when they open the sluice, it floods the battle, which is occurring in this peninsular area and in this gulf. This gulf and peninsula are where a giant war is taking place. So they go around the war to hit Limbury from the other side. Actually, I'm surprised at how much I can remember of this game. Like, there's a lot more than I realize. At Limbury, we fight Cilia and Lead again. And then in Limbury Castle, we find Elmdor is still alive and well. I mean, he teleports away at the end of the one battle, right? And we fight Elmdor, and he retreats into the crypts of Limbury. We go down in there. And that's where we see Elmdor transform into a Lucavi. I can't remember its name. They're the Death Seraph. But after routing Elmdor, actually we can find out. Which stone was it? It's a green stone. High Priest gave it to Meliodol. No. 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 Serpentis. Oh yeah. This is the extra stone, the 13th stone added to the 12 original zodiac signs, represents the snake acquired after beating Elidibus. Serpentarius actually has real world history as Ophiuchus, the snake charmer. There is a 13th zodiac in the Western Zodiac that was removed by the Christian Church. And that was Ophiuchus. And so things like everything has changed, but basically they removed it because 13 was seen as a bad number, but also because it is the snake charmer. The Christian Church didn't really like images of snakes because they were trying to attribute it to evil at the time, to manipulate people. So they got rid of that and told people to stop doing it, and they wanted people to stop practicing zodiacism, or whatever it is, however you want to call that in the first place. So similarly, 13th zodiac is Serpentarius, and is represented by a snake creature. We're looking for one of the earth signs, though. Or not earth. Which I didn't... There's like one I didn't touch, basically. The High Priest gave it. No. After vanquishing Draklau. This one was held by Sid. Oh, this one. Gemini. That's weird. Maybe it was purple. For some reason I thought it was green. Oh wait, the one you get from Meliadul is green, and you get that at the same time. Representing the twins acquired after beating Duke Elmdor in Limbury Castle. So he uses this stone to transform. After that, Meliadul shows up during the battle, and Meliadul is actually the sister. Well, let's just read it. I can't remember who she's the sister of. Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church.
Why is Aquarius not a water sign?
Aquarius is a water sign. Wait, no, it's an air sign, isn't it? Aquarius only has the similar root.
Yay.
What is the symbol of Aquarius? I forget. Actually...
Waves.
The water bearer, found in a deep mine in Goland. I think it's because of imagery with rain. Because the water doesn't bear itself in this instance. We're considering water being born on the wind. And that's why it's an air symbol. The water bearer is a symbol of nourishment. And in this game represents healing as well. When you read the magic words for healing
Aquarius.
spells, you're Aquarius. That's so sweet. I have 2 air symbols in my background. I don't remember what one of them is. Maybe no. But anyway, Aquarius is nice. When you read the magic words to healing spells in this game, they talk about breezing, like breezes, and they talk about healing wind and things like that. And I think that's
Water
important.
bearers are little guys who are really hard to kill.
Also that. So Meliadul joins your party after vanquishing Elmdor. Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church, daughter of Temple Knight Vormav, with Marquis Elmdor transforming into Zalera, she has doubts about her father's existence. To uncover her father's identity, she joins your party. And interestingly enough, she doesn't talk to Vormav. Do we fight Vormav too fast? Head of the Temple Knights of the Morong Glabados Church, leader of the New Zodiac Braves, which High Priest Funeral died to recreate. But Vormav seems to have his own intentions. And we did not complete his story yet. That's why it doesn't say very much. Meliadul gives you her stone, and everybody decides that they have to. That from there they go and they confront Daisadarg, who also has a holy stone. We already did that. Ramza goes to confront Daisadarg, and in the interim finds Zalbag is actually actively pursuing Daisadarg. And Ramza walks in during a battle between Daisadarg and Zalbag. Daisadarg turns the Knights of turns the Knights of Igros against Zalbag, saying that he's gone crazy. And Zalbag and Ramza take out Daisadarg, who then also transforms into Adremelk the Fury, a half goat, half dragon creature. Ouija, don't. Routing Daisadarg and retrieving another stone.
Hot.
Zalbag is captured by the Lucavi. And so Ramza has no choice but to head to
Me on my
Morond.
last hour of work.
Yay, congrats. And I hope that you get out soon. Like, I hope that it's cozy on the way out. You deserve the world. Sorry, I don't get enough Hartman time. So I'm going to give...
Nice.
I'm not sorry. I'm
no,
not sorry.
I
I'm
mean
not
half
sorry. I'm not
dragon,
sorry.
half goat.
The half dragon, half goat, absolutely nice. In fact, I like any form that includes goat is automatically superior to forms that do not include goat. And I'm not sorry.
Greatest of all time.
So thinking about it, at that point, Ramza decides to put an end to the
Baby goat
Lucavi's
videos
plan
are
altogether.
adorable.
Yes, baby goat videos.
Not sorry. Good girl.
Thank you. Like, honestly, one of the biggest things right now is that she doesn't like it when I say sorry about existing. Should not say sorry about things that are either out of my control or don't actually cause people pain. Not to be sorry about things that are not an issue. So that when we are sorry and when we do have to apologize, it feels better and it means more. Ramza decides to head to Morond to put an end to the church's plan. Storming the temple and entering the grounds, Ramza sees all of the leaders of the Lucavi. We will go through them now. First of all, Funeral, the leader, is in the church. He gets slain.
Here in Canada, we have a law that says saying sorry isn't a legal admission of guilt.
That's so nice. I'm glad. I think you told me that once. But it's also like it's super colloquial for Canadians to say sorry for some reason. Do you know anything about that? Why is that so broad? As the high priest of the Morong Glabados Church, he masterminded the Lion War, revived the powers of the church, which was lost during the 50-year war. His ambition is to raise the power of the church higher than that of the king.
Wait, it's an admission of guilt elsewhere?
I think you like I'm pretty sure in American law you can claim that if somebody
Indeed,
apologizes that they are apologizing for crime, and then you try to prove that, but also like that's why you get a lawyer kind of thing. His ambition was to raise the power of the church higher than that of the king.
That's buck wild.
But he is actually being used by the Lucavi, who are seeking to control, as the high priest is eventually killed by Lucavi. That just happened in the story as it is. Oh yeah, we're looking for... I don't think we saw them all yet.
If you're testifying, they can use saying sorry as sorry I did that instead of sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fuckery. Vormov, we already talked about. Rofel, Temple
He'll
Knight of the Morong
apologize
Glabados
to
Church.
a bag of rice for putting it down a little too hard.
Yeah. I think I've done things like that. So, in the church, Ramza meets the people that we talk about: Vormov, Raffle, and Kledian and Balk. In fact, one of these guys isn't there. Maybe Vormov. No, Vormov is there. Inside the church, I think, is Vormov, Raffle, and Kledian, because Balk is allegedly dead. Balk does die! Oh my gosh, I just realized Balk does die in the desert. He
We
is
also
dead.
have good Samaritan laws, so the Incredibles wouldn't happen in Canada.
There you go. So Balk does die. I misspoke. I said that he survives mysteriously. He doesn't. He's dead. He literally does die. I'll explain. So we see Vormov, who we talked about, Raffle, and Kledian. Raffle is Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church. Under the orders of Vormov, he goes to Igros to form an alliance with Duke Dystarg, one of the few men that knows about Vormov's strategies. And not Islud. Islud is Melidul's sister, I believe, and Vormov's son. Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church, son of the Temple Knight Vormov, member of the New Zodiac Braves. He had the Holy Stone Pisces, but he was slain when he tried to restrain Vormov, who turned into Lukavi.
Way.
Can we be lewd
Hi.
with Ialud? Hi, Oracle.
Good morning, Oracle. I hope you're well. We're currently explaining the entire story of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Hello,
And
Snowbuddy.
finally, Kletian, Temple Knight of the Morong Glabados Church, a knight and expert magician. Graduating at the top of the Garland Academy, Kletian had no doubts, joining the Temple Knights, solidifying his belief in the Glabados Church. He is the most holy.
Isn't it just Final Fantasy Isekai?
I had to
No,
put
different one.
bandage on my
Final
finger
Fantasy
because of
Tactics
paper
Advanced is the Isekai. This one is the one that takes place fully in setting. And finally, Balk is dead, as we explained. Kledian, Islud, and Vormov corner Ramza at the church and tell him to give the Germanic scriptures to them.
Put another bandage on it.
Put another bandage on it. Ramza hands over the Germanic scriptures, and then they try to fight him, but they are routed and they take off. Ramza then has to go from Morond Holy Palace. He goes back to Orbonne Monastery, because that's where it points to, and that's where everything goes down in the end, and that's where we enter the final leg of the story. Ramza enters the monastery and goes back down into the library and fights his way into the inner sanctum of the library, where most ancient books are held. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I never realized Oracle gave a bunch of gift subs earlier in the month. And Hartman got one of those gift subs. So Oracle, you can actually see one of the folks that you helped. Hartman is somebody I love very dearly. And thank you to Hartman for pushing the gift
Hell
sub
yeah.
along. Oracle I am also very endeared to. I just think it's nice. It's nice that y'all helped each other out. And I appreciate it.
You.
Yeah. Shy Fox, somebody I don't think I've ever met.
I just think you're neat.
Ow. I think you're neat too. I just think it's neat.
I also think it's neat.
Asterisk high five.
Yeah. Good shit. I hope Shy Fox enjoys their emotes. We may never interact, but they get to use the Snorlax and the Poggers. And I have 2 Poggers emotes because we're allowed 2. But I actually really like this emote. I don't know if everybody has it. I'm pretty sure it's a normal one, right? No, that's the 10,000 bits
The
reward. I'm
poggers
sorry.
is my favorite emote.
But this is the one I was talking about, is the Poggers emote.
Lilvin 11 absolutely poggers.
It gets the most
Yep,
use.
that's mine.
Yeah. The Poggers emote. Your go-to emote for wonderful things.
I'm working my way towards it.
Oh, right! Trey Troy unlocked the PogChamp. That's really good. Anyway. Ramza then heads to Arbonne Monastery. Lucky number. Hey, Oracle. There's a
Give me your
list.
best curses.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you want the curse. Give me your best curse. Your bestest of curses. Oracle of Plants. Good morning. This I have for you is a lucky number today, and it's yours. You get a lucky number. Lucky, and also Trey Troy. So welcome. But this one's for Oracle.
Another for Oracle.
Really? You want to give her two? Nobody's ever done that before. Also Hartman. Since we have a few, let's go to the screen.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break from the story of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Wow, 2 curses. Ill jump on the train, give her 3.
Ow! You get everything today. And also Hartman is the Bits boss now. Congratulations, Hardy.
Buy one, get one free offer. What a steal.
Yeah. So you get 3 actually. So first lucky number. Keeping in mind, the point is the number and the curse is fun. But if you could use the curse, definitely use it. And definitely use these lucky numbers.
Cheer 100.
How? You damage your own self. Oh my gosh. Also, thank you for the 100 bits. You're a sweetheart. You're a sweethearty. Sweetest Hartman. Oracle, you receive a boon today. You should rejoice.
Cheer 1.
Rejoicing and rejoicing. While Hartman takes the top
Haha,
spot.
I am the bid boss.
Yeah.
A boon.
We giving bits in here? Cried 100.
Oh my
God
god.
damn it, false advertising. SMH.
What is false advertising? A boon? No! That's not what I meant! I'm sorry. Wait. Ow. No, I'm not sorry. Ugh.
Cheer 100.
Alright, that was... Resetting. Resetting brain. It's not a boon. There's 3 curses,
Dot.
but...
Did somebody say bits?
Ask for a curse, how dare you!
Curse.
No!
How dare. Hectic as
It's
fuck.
not a boon. The boon is the 3 lucky numbers. But you do receive 3 curses. Here they are, and they're for you. First lucky number is 196.
Cheer 500.
No! Thank you so much. That's a hype train. I haven't got a hype train in a while.
I forgot to reload. I'll do it next paycheck.
I appreciate you. And also, Trey Troy takes the top spot again. I do not encourage bit war. I do not encourage this because, like, I appreciate the bits, but also you should spend your money on what you want. And I say that knowing you wanted to spend it on me. So 196. I will list
Cheer
out.
500.
Cow.
But I do like having a train badge.
I only take free bits Twitch gives me and give Rue money directly.
No. I'm gonna try and keep
Cheer
talking through
500.
this.
I won't be outdone in my own home.
No, but you both live here. Hype. 196. I'm just gonna keep going. I'll get help. I'll get your things. My brain is breaking down a little. We're going to ignore some of this. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm not.
Cheer 500.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Wow, I'm gonna get fucking punished too much for this. Thinking
Bit boss.
about it. Thinking about it. Why did I write that down? I didn't write down the right one. I missed the key press. Anyway. 196. The curse is, when rolling to hit, use D12 instead of D20. All bonuses and penalties apply as normal. Your crit rate changes. You crit on a 12. If you crit for 2,
punishments.
if you crit for 2 or 3, then your crit rate is 11 to 12. If you crit for
I am
4,
sorry, what? How is this a curse?
you roll a D12 instead of a D20. Oh wait, but you
And
see the
am I
option.
being
No.
punished?
Okay. The thing about my curses is that some of them are kind of helpful. Noting you have lower attack rolls on a D12, but technically it's easier to get a critical roll. Jesus Juice. Oracle, you've given gift subs to some people who have been here before. Esper Phantom, who is very dear to the channel. Certified Simp, who's a friend of a friend who's been here a couple times. Jesus Juice, Janine, somebody that I enjoy the company of. And Dasterin, who is a forever
Listen,
friend
I like
because
having a train
she's
back.
so nice. Yeah, I understand. I understand. Oh, fuck.
Seems good, 1000.
Can I get this curse on my 5e chart, please?
Well, you gotta... Do you have a crit rate character on your 5e? Anyway, Oracle, if you want... I can't do...
Here's
I
the thing,
cannot...
I'm a PF2E girl.
Ah. That's right. Oh, so Pathfinder has different rules. This
fucks
is
me
not
over
just
in
for
a lot of
D&D.
ways, but I'll take it.
That's
I
how
am
a
Mav,
curse
I gotta
works.
eat before bed.
Not much, but I have a plus 1/8 to hit.
Oh, so rolling a
Oracle,
d12
you're
doesn't
into
really hurt you.
P2E2? Lilbin 11 absolutely.
Yeah, and
bothered.
actually, she's been getting me into Pathfinder too. She let me play. I have my first Pathfinder 2 character is a Nightshade Leshy named Sleep. Also
Listen, I love
called
PF2E,
Belladonna.
5e and I used to be together, but we're done. It's not me, it's her.
True. And you have 2 more lucky numbers to roll.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Second lucky number for Dearest Oracle. I just remembered. DTG bought a lucky number for somebody else too, so she's
Also,
done that
they sick
before.
the Pinkertons, so it's like, Lamo what?
Yeah!
It's definitely her.
It is definitely her.
My luck for 5e was tainted by others in the past.
Your
P2E
second
just
lucky
feels better to
number
go in.
today is 456. 456. I've given this one out a couple times. Minus 10 to attacks and saves during combat. When one of your allies is dying and at least one ally has a negative status condition. So you're rolling with a d12 with a modified crit rate. But also, if one of your allies is dying and and at least one ally has a negative status other than dying, actually, if 2 people are dying, that counts too. Then you get a minus 10, which means your die
Control
roll is
AB,
negated.
12 inches, minus 10 to hit.
Yeah, so things are getting weird. But if you roll a 12, you crit, so it's still better than nothing. And this curse only applies while somebody is dying and another person has a status. And that person doesn't have to be you. So
So
this
it's
one's
all or
avoidable. It is all or nothing at that point. But we have one more. We have one more number for you. Because you're blessed with curses.
Statistically, you're more likely to crit, so you're technically more lethal to high-level enemies?
Yeah, absolutely. The minus 10 doesn't matter if you're only going for crits, and your crit is better. In fact, switch to a weapon that crits at a high rate, and then you get really good crit. Your third lucky number for the day is 992. 992. Roll twice on this list, ignoring results that instruct you to roll additional times. Both curses take effect during the new moon, which means you get 2 more lucky numbers. These are for you.
So it's a Crit Fisher build. It sucks bad in P2E but works well in the Advantage Heavy 5E.
Yeah.
Aw fuck yeah, 4 curses.
Yeah. But we have to ignore
Let's go.
certain numbers on this second roll and third roll. Or fourth roll and fifth roll.
5 numbers, so much cascade.
Yeah, well, she deserves it. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm not sorry. Ah! Fuck! Oh. I have to reset my brain again. Oracle deserves all the good luck. And all the curses, as she pleases. $108. Constitution -1. Not so bad. And that is also in combination with the
I'm
next
still
roll.
willing to punish it for being sorry when it shouldn't.
You don't have to punish me anymore for being sorry when I shouldn't. Somebody else has been punishing me for that very fiercely.
Oh, but
I
that's
got
just
the
my life,
cutest
though.
little dragon
Fuck yay.
emote.
HJ Choo Choo Hype Moi.
Congratulations, Oracle.
Train badge.
Train badge. Fifth number. 487.
Train badge. Train badge.
Meow. 487 says
Have
beasts.
to? Dearest, I want to.
Meow. Okay, well you could do that as well. Just know that you're adding +1 onto a punishment that's already hitting
I
me
continue
at
to reign, it seems.
1.5.
3.
Yeah, you get to be the bits boss. Oracle gets to be the conductor. This sounds like a story. The second curse roped into this one is beasts can see you through up to 10 feet of soil, rock, and wood, and up to 3 feet through lead and electrum. It is a curse of prey. You are now prey for beasts,
I
but
got this curse too, but only my cats use it.
yeah.
Choo choo hype
And this
applause.
one and the -1 to Constitution only show up
Oh, Rue, I wish I could let you listen in to Godlight.
during the new moon.
I got a clapping dolphin.
So during the new moon, you experience all these things. Here's your
Prey
list
now.
of lucky
That's
numbers.
a good one.
You're prey now. That's a good one.
UW,
Yeah.
you hunt me.
Fine. Then I shall take on the form of a beast so that I can see you wherever you are. Enjoy your lucky numbers. Enjoy your curses. Enjoy your morning. You beautiful you.
It shall become the huntress.
Hype moi.
Oh yeah, what was mine? I got a nice little dolphin emote too. Oh, I got the same one.
Hype applause.
Wow. Now, I just realized my green screen is a little off. To finish the story of
realize
Final
they were once
Fantasy
dead.
Tactics.
That curse guide was written by Alma.
It was.
You shit.
It was. My headmate wrote that one, but also I explained earlier that we took that name from
Our sister wrote that.
Our sister wrote that, exactly. I don't know if you were here for it, but I explained that I took a name. Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah.
I don't care if I am a historian student hundred of years later.
Yeah.
Our sister now.
Our sister now, right? You become endeared to history. I'm gonna bring my splits back too. I closed the splits because I wanted to use the D-pad, the number pad, and my number pad is also my split control. To finish, Ramza enters Orbon Monastery and goes down to the deepest forms, the deepest parts of the library of the stack, where the most ancient books are held, and fights Rolfel. And Rolfel, in defiance, transports everybody into Death City, Mirond, which is a city that exists in the land of the dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, and that's what, there's a difference between...
In the land of the dead, Ramza and company start walking across the way, and the holy stones are pointing them in the direction of the Lucavi, because the Lucavi are trying to resurrect their god, Ajora.
I do too. No,
And there's
I mean,
actually,
I don't know if I got you the details. So
hold on,
basically,
she
the
can't hear
first
me.
day-
I'm gonna wait just a little bit. I can't focus. Okay. We can actually read the entry for Alma, not Alma, Ajora.
Majora, like Zelda.
Ajora Globados, a living god who is actually dead during the events of the game. Born around 12 centuries
We
ago.
could read the entry for Alma again.
We could read the entry for Alma again, yeah. Born around 12 centuries ago in Brevenia of Lazalia, raised in Milodos, spoke of the arrival of a kingdom of a higher source, as feelings of antipathy grew from Father Farah, executed as a traitor by the Holy Empire of Eudora. Soon after, the capital of the Church of Farah became submerged under sea by an extraordinary natural phenomenon. Those disciples of Ajora believed that this was his miracle, and these stories spread, and the Globados Church became what it is today. But we find out through the course of the game that Ajora is actually a Lucavi as well, and the leader thereof. And Ramza has to stop her revival because she wants to take over the world. While walking across the Death Plains, Ramza runs into Balk. And although Balk was dead, we find him here because he is dead. In the land of the dead, Balk stops Ramza because even in death, he can still help the Lucavi reach their goals. And honestly, I kind of respect him a little bit more for that. Like, he still does it, even after he dies. That's the kind of energy I want. Even after I'm dead, I want to help. I just want to help. They continue on into a graveyard of airships. In the graveyard of airships, they find the body of Alma, and stooping over the body is Vormov. And Vormov has Alma's unconscious body on the ground at his feet while he tries to revive Ajora, whose real name is Altima. And instead of being a man, she is a woman. And instead of being human, She is a devil. Ramza and company show up, and Vormov engages them in combat, hoping that spilling their blood would revive his deity. Instead,
No, she is a Nissan.
Honk honk.
I'll explain.
Nissan Altima is a car.
I didn't know that. Oh, you're right, though. I did know that. I never think about it because Altima is stronger than a vehicle. Clearly, if I hear the word Altima, I think about her and not a car. Vormov transforms into... I gotta scroll down. I can't remember his name. Heshmaelim the Regulator. And Heshmaelim confronts, fights the party and then is beat down. In his last throes, Heshmaelim sacrifices his own body to revive Ajora, leaving behind the Holy Stone in his possession. At that moment, if you had beat every boss and got every stone, you have all the stones. And that also unlocks an extra summon, which is interesting and fun. But then you have all 13 stones. Alma is awakened, and her body ages 400 years or 200 years or something. She ages and becomes an old woman and becomes very sick and disoriented. Ramza tries to save her, but the power of Ultima springs forth from her and rejects her form from her body as we hear her scream from within the vessel. I'm sorry. We hear her scream from within the vessel of her former body, and then her consciousness is taken outside, and we see Alma restored to her normal younger self, while Ultima...
Stop being sorry.
Yeah.
Goo.
Oh, I gotta tell you what happened.
Hi, Janine.
Because, you know, I'm telling your mother God doesn't want you yet.
So...
Stop being goo.
Stop being goo. I will stop being goo. I'm trying very hard, and everybody's helping me so much. And she's helping me, and Snow is helping me. It's a good time. I got...
Become a solid.
Become a solid.
telling you. Fucking stuff pepper.
So Alma, we hear Alma scream from
Hi,
within the
Jesus
vessel of
kids.
her body.
What a bummer to age 200 years.
Absolutely.
Wait, what kind of goo? Like jam?
I could be jam, but I think because of my physiology, I would become a slime.
I want to be strawberry
Wait.
jam.
But I now know how to transform into plants.
Snowboo.
And because I can transform into plants, I could become a strawberry. And because I could become a slime, I could become strawberry jelly. I know how to be strawberry jelly now.
Blueberry. Snow goo.
I have to finish this story. It is very, very difficult because I can hear Chris talking to her father. So I'm just holding on. I'm holding on as much as I can because it's really hard to focus. Alma screams from within the vessel of her former body and is transported outside as her younger self once again. And there we see Ultima in the form that she can inhabit. And we know that Ultima is actually the descendant, or the eldest ancestor of Ramza and Alma, and because of that, she can create her own body now. And in her form, she recognizes the form of humans in front of her, being Ramza and Alma and them. And she declares her hatred of humanity and declares that she shall bring war unto the material world.
Oh damn.
And so in that moment, Ultima declares her war against
Let it read
humans.
you monster. The monster is Janine.
Janine is the monster. I get you. Ramza, being the true-hearted and fearless person he is, decides that he has to stop Ultima.
Wait, is this Alma who's going on a Rama page?
It's not all Alma going on the rampage. She gets separated from her body and becomes her own self again. And a new body is there that looks like her but older, and that is Ultima. Ramza declares that he will stop her assaults on the material world, and that's where the final battle takes place, as Ultima transforms herself into the form of death itself, and she becomes an angel, and with her terrible power, she assaults Ramza and his company. After a fierce battle with her and other devils, she is put on death's doorstep, but having incredible power, Ultima sacrifices her form to assume the supreme divine form
Our
of
sister
death.
was always an angel.
Yes. And then Ultima becomes the true form of Ultima in the final throes of her life. And there, her most horrible power is brought forth. And again, Ramza must fight her. This time alone, but Ultima is not to be trifled with. In the final moments, Ultima laments only that she had died, and she laments only that she could not reclaim her throne. And then she's gone. And we don't know what happens to Ramza and company. Back in the material world, we mourn the death of the prince, and we mourn the death of Ovelia, and we mourn the death of Ramza and Alma, as we see a funeral taking place, and people talk about how terrible it was.
And Rolk.
But not yet. Because in the very last moment before the end of the story, we see a familiar person ride in on a chocobo with his sister on her chocobo. They look at their own graves, and then they move on to better horizons. We also see that Balmafula is still alive, and she laments on the fact that everything went down, and they happen to be better off, but she's still sour. And then, after a lengthy credit scene, we see Ovelia in the church grounds where she has been living her entire life since being captured. She's been a prisoner in the countryside for at least a year, if not longer. But it's a very, very long time for somebody who was a diplomat and now has to live in a church in the middle of nowhere. Delita, who has been manipulating her the entire time, walks up on her and tells her that the war is over and that they're going to be happy from then on. And Ovelia
They retire to a farm upstate.
Ovelia stabs Delita for being a cruel and heartless person, and she'd been thinking about it for the entire year beforehand. She hugs him and dips the knife directly into his gut. And we are shown that he also was about to kill her, fulfilling her actual death, and he would become the king. of not just Galeon, but also the other surrounding countries, because both the princes are dead. Nobody knows where the king is, and the queen would definitely seize power, as it's hinted throughout that the queen doesn't want the war to go on. She wants to
Good.
maintain
He
control.
deserves IY.
He does deserve it. But also, Ovalia dies as well. The two of them perish there. And that's how the rumor gets started. That's how the original rumor gets started that Deletus saved the world. Because people assume, and they lie, and they cover up facts until it looks like he liberated all the kingdoms and put Ivalice together. And that is not the truth. But that is the story of Final Fantasy Tactics. That was a lot longer than my other stories that I tell on this channel. But I want to thank Montague for putting in the ticket. I hope that it was an incredible story. I'm gonna clip that. I want people to see